that what really connects us isn't race, it isn't a party, it's not religion, it's the stories that we remember. It's those conversations around the dinner table. It's the kind of bologna sandwich you had at lunch. It's the kind of furniture you're used to sitting on. It's the relationship with your grandfather. It's values. It's the life you've lived that you remember up here. It's those memories. And if you know that in you and you can tap into that and share that with people, that's what connects us. Everything else is just our stats. And we put too much emphasis on stats. Where did you go to college? How much money do you make? What do you do? None of that tells you anything about the person. It's those memories, it's the stories. It's not the stats, it's the stories. And what I found in Iowa, being Michelle Obama campaigning for her husband, Barack Hussein Obama, in a predominantly white state where people weren't used to city folks, is that by sharing that story, it resonated. You know, people were like, I see you, I understand you, because you're not talking about policy, you're not talking about to-do lists, you're sharing. And that breaks through all of that. We just often don't get the chance to go into a stranger's living room and share each other's stories. We don't give people the benefit of the doubt that they'd be open. And I experienced that. But what I forgot was that I wasn't just walking around in Iowa, I was involved in politics. And politics is a game. And the more successful I became, the bigger my crowds became, the more of a threat I became, the more of an asset I became to my husband, the more of a target I had to be. They had to take me down to slow us down. And that's when the attacks came. And so it wasn't until I was beaten up pretty badly that the campaign finally stepped up and gave me the resources I needed, a communications director, you know, an advance team. Up until that point, I was my schedule was I would wake up at 5 in the morning, go get my hair done, ladies, because you can't campaign until you get your hair done. So I go to the hairdresser, my mom would come take the kids, I'd get on a flight to Iowa, I'd fly down on an 8 o'clock flight with my 2 other teammates, and we'd be going through baggage check, and we'd get off, some volunteer would pick us up, and we would do 5 rallies in a day. And my deal was I have to be home by dinner. And I would get on a plane and come back and take off my little campaigning shoes and be mom and take them to soccer and get them to school, and I did that 3 days a week. That was not sustainable, but no one was gonna advocate for me. Barack was too busy. He didn't know what I was going through, and I wasn't going to complain to him. So it took that crisis for me to realize I can't wait for somebody to give me the help I need. I have to ask for it. I have to demand it. In the same way I could demand my salary at my job and demand that I have flex time and to believe that I was good enough to get these resources. And I was able to turn it around because I got more control. I realized that politics is a game. That if you let someone, if you don't have control of your own story and your own voice, someone will take it and distort it and rip it up into a million pieces, and they'll lay it on your lap in a way that you don't even recognize. It's like, that's not even me. So I learned the power of controlling my story and my voice.
And you told that story at the Democratic Convention